AgweekTV weather is brought to you by Kaler Farms.
The weather portion of Ag Week now. There was a great big storm that moved right through the middle part of the country last week. I actually told you about it last week, calling it an Edmund Fitzgerald-type storm. It began with snow and blizzard conditions in parts of Colorado, worked into Iowa and produced some tornadoes middle of the week, and then a lot of wind and rain through the Great Lakes before it disappeared off the eastern seaboard. It pulled down some cooler weather into the northern plains, but it wasn't really unseasonably cold. This particular storm system, classic El Nino. Now, you don't blame a storm on El Nino. It doesn't work like that. But it was the type of storm that we often get when there is a strong El Nino, because El Nino will often intensify and enhance the southern branch of the jet stream. When that gets more energetic, it tends to create, occasionally at least from time to time, bigger storms. And if those southern branch storms move up into the Midwest and northern plains, they can bring some kind of interesting weather. Well, we may see another one of those developing this week. A lot of jet stream energy coming in off the Pacific and on the southern jet, and that's going to carve out this. By early in the week, we'll see a trough of low pressure in the southern Rockies. That type of curvature out to the left out ahead of it often produces a storm system. And I think by sometime around Tuesday, Wednesday, there's going to be a fairly dramatic low developing next week down in the southern plains. Now, this week, I should say. As that low, this time it's going to stay more to the south. But I think it's going to produce a great deal of stormy weather, perhaps even an outbreak of tornadoes across portions of the south and southern Midwest. Meanwhile, some colder weather will be dropping into southern Canada, but because of the jet stream configuration, northern plains, upper Midwest, not going to get that cold. It'll be a little cooler by the end of the week as the cold weather begins to settle in as the low moves out, but I don't think it's going to be unusually or unseasonably cold at all, just a little bit colder, especially across the northern plains. So weather-wise, this week's outlook, this will be all that stormy weather in the Middle West, and there could be some localized areas of pretty substantial rain. Pacific Northwest will get wet, I think, down to about San Francisco. Northern Plains, probably not much rain or snow again in this next week. As we go to the following week, I think it's going to be fairly dry here. Another round of rain possible in the southern plains, maybe a brief shot in the Pacific Northwest, but further north, and a lot of dry weather across the northern plains. Meanwhile, there's some signs of northern parts of Brazil and South America becoming a little more hot and dry, while it looks favorably moist down in Argentina and the southern part of Brazil, because, of course, it's the high growing season down in the southern hemisphere. So El Nino signals beginning to show up. Look for more of these local extremes of weather. However, the general outcome for the northern plains and most of the upper Midwest, probably a continuation of there not being very much cold weather.